Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about TFA and NFA. In our previous lectures, we have discussed about finite automata and formal languages regular expressions. Now, the applications of this finite automata is nothing but your DFA and NFA here. Now, before moving on to this DFA and NFA, we'll just have a look about this model of the finite automata. So, an automata which is depending upon the states as well as on the input symbols, that is called an automata with finite amount of memory, that is a little amount of memory. And now in this finite automata there are three components that are involved. One is labeled as the input tape, second one is labeled as the reading head, and third one which is labeled as the finite control. This input tape is nothing but used to process the input string. That means whatever the input string that we are having, that input string is processed by using this input tape. And in order to indicate the beginning and ending of this input tape, there are end markers which are represented with the help of special symbols. So we can see an end marker at the beginning and also a dollar symbol at the end, where these two are acting as a delimiters for the input string, because the automata, when it is moving from one state to another state, as it is having a little amount of memory, it is not in a position to remember the previous input. Okay, so where it has been processed. Now the second component of this finite automata is a reading head. This reading head indicates the position of the current input. So when the finite automata moves from one state to another state, automatically this read head increments its position from one input symbol to other input symbol, indicating that the input symbol has been processed, that is the input symbol has been read. And third component is the finite control, which is the important component here in this finite automata design, because this finite control is responsible. This is nothing but which is having little amount of memory, which is responsible for these transitions to occur. That means for this input string to be processed from one state to another state. So finally, this finite automata model, it is having three components. One is the input tape, other one is the reading head, and other one is the finite control, where that input tape is used to process the input data, that is input string, and that reading head is only able to read the input. It is not allowed to modify the data. And finite control is a component with little amount of memory. Now moving on to the types of the finite automata here, there are two basic types of the finite automata. One is deterministic finite automata and the other one is non-deterministic finite automata. In the deterministic finite automata, for each input symbol, there will be exactly one transition from each state. Whereas in the non-deterministic finite automata, for each input symbol, there will be more than one transition from each state. Now, coming to this definitions of this deterministic finite automata and non-deterministic finite automata, they are defined similar to your finite automata. A deterministic finite automata, it is also defined as a collection of phi tuple. This definition resembles the definition of your finite automata. So this is also a phi tuple, or it can also be labeled as a quintuple, which is represented with Q, sigma, delta, Q naught, F, where Q represents the finite non-empty set of states and sigma represents the finite non-empty set of input symbols, which is known as the input alphabet, and delta represents the transition function. This is responsible for generating the movement of current state to the next state on an input symbol. And now how it is being processed is, delta is defined something like, on an input state which is belonging to Q, mapping onto an input symbol, it produces an output state which is also available in Q, that is set of states, and this is known as direct transition function. That means Q on sigma, that is input state on input alphabet, directly produces an output state where this is one-to-one mapping directly. Then Q naught belongs to Q, where Q naught, this is the initial state of the finite automata. As we have seen in our previous lecture, we have to identify the start state. So start state is labeled here as Q naught, and F is a subset of Q, that is, which is nothing but also termed as Q, where you can have one final state or set of final states. That is also known as accepting states. Now let us have an example here. So construct a DFA for the input alphabet 0, 1 such that it accepts the strings ending with 0, 0. That means my DFA should accept all the strings that are ending with 0, 0. That means at the beginning, whatever symbol it may contain, either it is 0 or a 1, but the ending, your language should end with 2 zeros. Okay. Now, defining the finite automata, something such that, for example, let us start with an initial state Q naught, where Q naught is the initial state. So now the condition that is given as, suppose if the string is 0, 0 itself, that means when it moves this finite automata which is in Q naught, if it moves to the next state on the input symbol 0, then it is producing the state Q1. Now 1, 0 I got here. That means we have arrived at a 1, 0 input symbol. Then another 0 we have to process. That means on receiving the next 0, what should happen to this DFA? This DFA should be in a state to accept that string. So when a DFA is set to accept that string, then we have to terminate the string. That means we have to make that state as final state or accepting state. Now for DFA, as per the definition, for each and every input symbol, there should be exactly a transition defined. So now if you take the input alphabet as 0, 1, so we have defined 0 transitions. Now coming to the transition 1, so on the input transition 1 in the beginning state, so if your string is 1, 0, 0, then also it should be accepted. Now, so Q naught on, so if you see the transitions here, delta of Q naught on 0 is Q1 and Q naught on 1 is Q naught itself, where this is nothing but a self loop. Now again, Q1 on 1, Q1 on 0 is Q2 we have defined, and Q1 on 1 is Q naught. That means again the string goes back and again it arrives because 2 zeros. At the ending we should place with 2 zeros. Now Q2, though, that means when it reaches the final state, in the final state also if it arrives at a 1, it has to go back and it has to come from the beginning of the finite automata, where this is nothing but said to be deterministic finite automata. If you see here in this finite automata, for each and every state that we are having, Q0, Q1, Q2, 3 states we are having. For each and every state that we are having, we have defined the transitions. And Q2 on 0, it remains in that state itself. That means at the end we will be having the zeros here. Now, defining the transition table, here for each and every state, if you see, transition table is used to represent your transition functions. So see the transition functions, how they are defined here. So this transition functions, delta of Q0 on 0, it moves to Q1, where the same we have represented. Q0 on 0 moves to Q1 and Q0 on 1 moves to Q1, and Q1 on 0 it is moving to Q2, and Q1 on 1 it is moving to Q0, and Q2 on 0 is Q2 and Q2 on 1 is Q0, where this is the DFA which is accepting the strings that are ending with 0, 0. Now moving on to this NFA. NFA is also similar to the DFA, except the difference lies with the transition function, where in this transition function, this input state on an input alphabet, it can map into multiple output states, where that is nothing but the power set, which is subset of all the cues here. So seeing an NFA, something like constructing an NFA with the input alphabet 0, 1, which is accepting the strings that are with 0. So now here initial state is 0. Now my NFA, it should move on to the next state upon receiving a 0, where that is nothing but my final state. And in this final state also, if it is having 0 itself, then it should rotate in that state only, where this is nothing but the NFA. And now if you clearly see here, this NFA, on this NFA, there are multiple transitions and there are transitions which are not yet defined on this input symbols. Now coming to the differences between this NFA and DFA, DFA represents the uniqueness of the computation, where NFA cannot be unique at a time, where in the DFA we are having only one specific path, where in the NFA we'll be having many paths from on a specific input from one state to other state. And DFA will not accept null transitions, that is null moves, where NFA accepts the null moves. And DFA cannot contain multiple final states, where DFA can have multiple final states. And now with this conclusion, what we can say is, it is easy to construct an NFA, but a DFA is a bit complex than your NFA. And NFA is also used to backtrack, where that is not allowed with DFA. And every NFA can be converted into DFA, but not each and every DFA cannot be translated into an NFA. Thank you.